Hey, bit of a nostalgia trip today, going back to some of my first projects. And today, I just went over my first video game I ever made. And now today I'd like to look back at the first story I ever wrote. This is the first story I ever wrote. Story writing has become a big part of my life, I guess, recently, working with Scott, my co creator, on a lot of very story based indie games. And uh, well, I've always been a big fan of books and that kind of stuff. But I used to write a lot. I don't really write anymore. But this is the first story I ever wrote. All right, without further ado, so I'm going to be reading it because the text is a little illegible, but I'll be trying my best to do so here. And I believe I actually made this into an old camcorder video at one point. A similar story, perhaps. I'm not sure. We'll see how this goes. It might be completely incoherent. The Lost Jewel. Start out with Jane and her friend. C. Sigh. $100 for the best jewel. Wish I had one. I could make a lot of money of it. Friend. Hey, I have a diamond. Do you want to enter it with me? Miss Jane, I would be delighted. Then they walk off scene. The camera zooms to Roth in a car. Who you didn't see before. Jewels. I do love jewels. He smiles, a really mean grin, and the camera is off. Then we see Pager, and the title is written out, really neat in script. This is the address, says Miss Jane. Okay, so that was sort of the intro sequence. So apparently there was this lady, Jane. She says, I need jewels, $100 for the best. Maybe there's some sort of trade going on. And then this creepy guy, Roth, is apparently sneaking on them outside with a car. Then we have a page come up with some night script lettering, which is probably maybe the intro card or something like that. The title card, I don't know. This is the address, says Miss Jane, and they stand in front. My house. When they come in, a really dirty lady is sitting on a chair behind a table, talking on the phone. No, no, no. Who the heck puts lima beans on pizza? She yells and closes the phone. Can I help you? She says. Then addressing the friends, she says, Yes. The Jewel Contest. Oh, yes, this way. She leads them to the kitchen, then into dining room. Okay, so this receptionist or secretary is bringing them to the jewel contest. The table has many napkins and a small box. Show me the jewel, says the lady. Miss Jane shows her the diamond. The lady takes the jewel. This one is special, she says, puts it into the box, and clicks a lock. She takes the keys and hands one to Miss Jen. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Okay, that's of course a line from Lord of the Rings, right? From Gandalf to, or The Hobbit, from Gandalf to Bilbo Baggins. She says, no, that was to Frodo. That was to Frodo in Lord of the Rings. She says, you will hold onto this key, and we will anoint the contest winners tomorrow morning. Characters. Miss Jane, played by Jennifer, who was my neighbor at the time. Miss Jane's friend, Melissa, maybe? So this looks like a cast list, maybe a casting call. Detective Grimoire, Matthew. Okay, Grimoire is a detective from one of my favorite Flash games. This is a Flash game that came out a long time ago. I guess I was playing that at the time. Cameraman, Dad. Camera guy, Roth, is my friend Mike. And the security guard is my younger brother, Mike. Okay. After Miss June and her friend leave the house, Roth walks in. Hi, I'm here for the jewel contest. The accountant brings him to the table. Jewel? Oh, actually I want to check the security. My friend put one in earlier. Each jewel is locked with a lock. The contestant and I have a key to that lock, says the lady. She holds up a key ring. Plus, we have a security guard, Mr. Wrigley. So Mike comes in with a walker. Oh, of course, says Roth. Okay, so I guess that maybe the security guard is like comedically crippled or something. He leaves, and on the porch, he says, this is going to be easy. Okay, so he's trying to do a heist, I guess. This is actually a pretty interesting story. Later, Roth returns at night. He knocks on the door with an axe and hides. Some guy opens the door and comes out. Shut off the camera. Roth goes inside, then turns on. This makes a teleporting effect. Very cool. I don't know what that was about. He goes inside and is facing Mr. Wrigley, voiced by Matthew O'Connell. Yes. Oh, wait a second. I wonder if Michael, my younger brother, was so young that he was in a stroller at this time, like a thing to help babies walk. And so that's why I'm speaking for him. That's probably what it is. That's probably why they're like, oh, this is the security guard. And they show my younger brother, Mike, who at that time is like a toddler, a little baby. And it's like, oh, okay, he's a little baby. This is going to be easy. Okay, makes sense now. Let's party, says Roth. Mr. Wrigley replies, oh, no. From here to next, blue, out, Mike makes the movie much better, but has to be replaced, not available. What? Miss Jane is sleeping. You hear knocking. She wakes up and takes a lantern down the staircase in her house. Okay, this is a very classic scene, I guess, from like old school horror. Opens the door and her friend comes in. We have a problem. It may be worth it. I just heard news that the jewel contest was broken into. They killed the lady at the desk and stole your jewel. Okay. Very sad. They go to the crime scene. Blood on the floor. Can't someone help us find who did it? Then the friend Kate says, there is one person, and takes out a cell phone and dials it. Daniel, who's my father, picks up the phone and slowly walks up the stairs. He knocks on the bathroom door. Come in, calls a voice on the other side. He walks in to Detective Grimoire, me, in a bathtub. We have a case, sir. Want to solve it? Then music. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Okay, says Detective Grimoire. In the jewel contest, there is a knock on the door. Miss June opens it to see Detective Grimoire. Are you Madame Jane? Says Grimoire. Yes, I'm the one. Come, let me tell you what happened. Miss Jane and they walk off screen. Hey, aren't you the security guard? Asks Kate. Yep. Tell me what happened. This should censor. The robber came in here. I remember him perfect. He just appeared, then hit me on the head. I knocked out cold, says the guard. And that's it. That's it. That's all that she wrote. Wow. Well, that's the first story I ever wrote, and I guess it was a screenplay. I definitely could have seen my life going a lot different and going into movie writing instead. Back as a kid, I would make a ton of short films on camcorder and stuff like that. In addition to short stories, I also wrote a comic book, which is probably around somewhere still today. But that is the first movie script I ever wrote. It wasn't a short story; it was a movie script. And I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was a little bit silly, a little bit nonsensical, and certainly not finished. But hey, if you are writing a story, I'd love to hear it too. Everybody's got to start somewhere.